Hello, everybody. Welcome to No Cap Fridays. I'm here with my girl Allegra. She's letting me take the lead today. We're gonna see how this goes. It's gonna go awesome because I'm awesome. So I'm AJ. Feel free to call me Coach AJ, Anjane, whichever you prefer. I am a holistic financial coach and consultant. I love working with business owners, talking about all things money and organization. And so we are here to just talk about all the things that a lot of you guys are experiencing, some things that you might not feel comfortable talking about. We're just gonna get out here and give you the real and get out today. Okay, it's gonna be a quick one. So get ready because it's gonna be a little bit of fussing, but you're gonna be okay and you're gonna be better when this is over. Okay? Okay. Allegra, to you.
Thank you, Ajane. I appreciate the introduction. That was amazing. Thank you guys for joining us. We are going to go in today about the truth about funding, funnels, and false promises. We did talk about funding. We did talk about funnels. Today, we really want to dig more into false promises in business. And we did a little bit of a review before we came in here with you guys. And we want to kind of say, we understand. Not only have we, been in situations where there were false promises made in business, we've also, I'm sure, been a part of those false promises. And so we're going to share some stories with you guys and talk about some real situations that happen that you can, avoid, right? Sometimes it's about being aware. And we have hinted towards these areas, but we're going to start. Ajane, I'm going to pass it back over to you because I know you're ready to go in. So if you want to start with the first one, and let's talk about it. I love that.
Got it. Okay, so the first one is overstated results. So the definition of this would be claiming guaranteed success or instant results when such outcomes depend on factors outside of your control. So let me just jump right on in because that stresses me out. I love that some of you guys have had the luck and done the inner work and all the outside things you don't talk about to be able to make 10K in a week or 100K in a month. I don't believe that you're lying. I would love to see some receipts, but I don't believe that it's impossible, right? My problem is when you tell me I can show you how to, but you give me this blueprint that does not entail all the things that you've personally done to get yourself to the level of mindset to accept that kind of money. Because you're working with a coach or mentor who taught you something that you're not going to teach me. And that's the problem I have with that. I feel like we need to just accept the fact that some folks are not ready for that level of success. And if you're going to target a certain audience, make sure you're telling them, hey, you need to be ready for this. You're going to have to do more than just put a funnel together and slap it onto an ad and paste an ad spin and get some results. It's bigger than that. It starts in the mind. And we've said this a couple of times, and I always say it starts inside of you first. So be more honest with these folks, please. Like that's all. So is that? Can I go to the next one, or can I just boop boop boop? What are we doing? How are we doing that? Because this
Well,
is not a
yeah.
real
I mean,
person.
well, let's not
I
go through
can
all of
keep
them.
going.
Pause. So I think it's good that we get to really digest this, guys, because the truth is that, those false promises that people give in those stages of their business, they stem off of uncertainty. It stems off of pride and uncertainty, right? Like, because the truth is that a lot of times we like, how can we guarantee? Like, let's just be really honest. As a coach, I know that, my coaching programs are geared to guide people in areas where they can reduce the overwhelm in their business. That is very key for, like, moms and career driven professionals that still work their 9 to 5 jobs, and women who have had businesses for a long time, and like, I just kind of built this thing up, and now I need to remove some things and clear it out. um we have to understand, like, what our whole business feels and looks to us, right? And be certain about what we're doing for people, because then when we're certain about how we serve people within our business, like whatever that product or service we're offering, we truly know what that does for people, then we become certain about the results, but we don't guarantee them, because it's not about, hey, I'm doing this and I'm going to make sure it happens. It's not up to me. It's up to my clients and my customers and my partners even to decide. right? I'm going to bet on this and I'm going to do the work. And sometimes I even find that, I used to use the word guarantee, guys. Like I used to say, I guarantee you're going to make this or you're going to do this, right? And not in the business coaching space, but in my past business. And that felt good to me because it made me feel like I know what I'm doing, and guarantee feels like they're going to believe me. But the truth of the matter is that it's very misleading because when people, see that, it makes them feel like you actually are going to deliver the results regardless of whether they do the work or not, and that's not true. And so, the truth about this is that you're going to probably come across some of those false promises. I've done it in my business when I was very, novice in what I knew. But once I found out, like, through situations where I was coached or I learned from a mentor or a situation, I realized that there's no way I can guarantee that. There's no way. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. So what we do is we make sure that we partner up with people who we can do the work with, and the results that we're looking for, we plan for them. And whatever we get from those results, we improve on, right? So if we set a goal for $500,000 this year and we set up, a strategy and a campaign for that, right, for clients, we know that at the end of the year we're shooting for 500,000, but we're tweaking and looking and managing throughout the year. We're not just like, oh, okay, it's December and we have $500,000. It doesn't work like that. And so by 6 months, by half the year goes by, we know the truth about it. We know that, maybe that's not a realistic number, right? Or maybe we need to go higher. But if we say in the beginning of planning, right, in that campaign that we guarantee that you're going to get to $500,000, how will we know that? It takes time, it takes tweaking, it takes testing. So I think that, when we get to a point of, and this is like with a lot of things. So we're going to go to the next one because I want to hear more about these areas where people may be giving false promises and not know it, or actually be frustrated around the false promises they've gotten in the past, and that has steered them away, from working with people or doing business themselves. We want to debunk that so you can get back on the horse and do what you need to do. What was the next one?
So the next one is undeliverable deadlines, promising to complete work faster than is realistically possible. And this is something I can definitely talk about because I deal with services. So I do tax repair, bookkeeping, payroll. Sometimes I'm giving plans to people for them to execute on, and that stuff takes time. Especially if I'm cleaning up books for somebody that maybe didn't know what they were doing and they needed help. I can't say I'll have it done by tomorrow. Like during tax season, like if you reach out to me after April, sometime maybe June through October, you might get a 24-hour turnaround, maybe 2 days. But when it's tax season, you need to give me 3 to 5 business days because I know for a fact that I have 10, 15 other people in front of you. So I'm not going to say, oh yeah, perfect, everybody. Oh, I'll have it done by tomorrow. I have it done by tomorrow. And then I put myself in a state of stress because now I have to produce these results that I promised these people when I have to be realistic with them. And if they don't like the fact that they need to wait a couple days, that's fine because some people make y'all wait 2 weeks. If you can't wait 3 to 5 days, you just don't need to work with me. Because if I do your taxes wrong, then you're going to be upset. So that's kind of the way that I'm viewing that specific thing. But I know you can probably speak from like a product type of, space. So I'll go ahead and pass it to you, Allegra.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of us are service based and product based, right? So we do have to understand all components of how we operate, promising to complete work faster than is realistically possible. That is definitely something I can speak from both sides, guys. I can speak from a business side and speak from a consumer side. You know, it's this is why it's so funny. This is why you have some companies that say, if you don't get this within a certain amount of time, we'll refund your order. Or will you remember back in the day they used to do stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now I remember a time where I used to take advantage of that. Like I used to be like, oh, okay, I'm calling because my order was 5 seconds late. I'm calling. Now nowadays I don't see a lot of that anymore, right? I don't see a lot of that. We're guaranteed 15 minutes delivery or you get your money back. I don't know if y'all see it. Y'all tell me, right? Let me know who's doing it. Because promising to complete work faster than is realistically possible, the realistic viewpoint is that workers are different, employees are different, the market is different. So how we used to get fast food back in the day may not be realistic today, right? Like you got machines operating instead of employees. And we have, we have all kind of things to consider: malfunctions, right? Technical difficulties, lack of knowledge and understanding in the workplace. So all those things can actually create false promises when you don't really know all of what you should know, right? And so, and this is, I'll give you a different example because that's kind of like in the fast food. I'm thinking of fast food when I think about that. But say if you operate a business like myself as a coach, right? I always think about well, not even just as a coach, but like you said, product-based businesses, right? And that was one example. But if you have someone who is, say, delivering, I'm trying to think of a really good one, like food, like through delivery, not through handouts, right? So not fast food, but actually like delivering food, right? There are a lot of ways where, as a product-based entrepreneur, people are actually expecting things at the time frame that you are going to give it to them, right? And being able to say, I promise this without having the right systems in place. Okay, so this is where I want to go. I'm trying to think of where I want to go with this. Having the right systems in place, okay? So for example, okay, here we go. For example, Amazon. Amazon has Prime, right? So when they know that they have their system in place to be able to deliver quickly because they have Amazon lockers and warehouses located right in your neighborhood, they know they can realistically do. But if you are a new entrepreneur and you come into space and you have products that you want to sell and you see that there are companies like Amazon that are delivering overnight and you're like, oh yeah, I want to do that too. Okay. I'm going to compete with Amazon and I'm going to make my products and my services look really, really pretty by saying, I'm going to get it to you fast. But a lot of those things may attract the buyer to your. But when they actually get the delivery, right? If it's 2 days late, if it's a week late, if it's, whatever that delay is, what happens is it starts to diminish your brand. So even though, and I think that it comes with good intention because a lot of entrepreneurs really do want to get that out to their customers, right? And I don't want to call out any examples because, there's so many new entrepreneurs that don't know because maybe they didn't do the right research or maybe they had the wrong information. And so whenever that happens in a situation where you may miss out on information and you deliver something and it gets there a week later, correcting that measure and being more realistic and saying, maybe I can't deliver in the time frame that I said I would. Maybe I can't offer that product the way that I said I was going to offer it. So tweaking that and actually adjusting it along the way is going to get you out of that false promise, right? So it's not that you have to be stuck there, right? So if anybody's listening, they're like, yeah, I've made false promises, or yeah, I've had that happen to me. Sometimes it's just a matter of learning and adjusting. So that's what I'll say about that. I know that was long-winded, but I had to get that out.
It was great though.
So I was like,
it was really good.
That example was not coming up for me.
No, I get it. I love it. It's so relatable.
All right, let's go to. You want me to read the next question?
Oh, you want to take? You want me to keep reading it, or you want to go take turns? I'm fine with whatever you want to do.
No, I want you to comment, and then I'll go to the next question.
Okay, got it. So my comment in response to what you said was, I love when I see a website. I want to be positive for a moment. I know we fuss a lot, but I want to be positive. Some of you guys will say on your website, 3 to 5 days, shipping time, for us to process your order. I love that because that gives me realistic expectations on when I should expect your order. I'm calculating in my head. I love when I get shipping notifications. I don't like when I have to send an email to ask and then all of a sudden you update it. But I'm grateful when I know it takes time, right? Especially on pre-orders and stuff. So I'm grateful to the entrepreneurs who do that. Go ahead, Allegra. To you.
No, you're right. You're right. And we're not, yeah, you're right. We're not being negative here. We just want to say that it's encouraged for people who are doing it the way that is realistic, right? That, I mean, it's okay to take longer. It's okay. Like, it's just as long as people know that it's going to take 10 days to get their order, right? As long as people know, but that 10 days that they're waiting is going to be worth the wait because obviously it's got to be a reason, right? All right. So I'm going to read the next one. Okay. We digress. This one, false promises in 2025. I'm going to put this up too. It says advertising, it's a misleading benefit. Advertising features or advantages that the product or service does not actually have. What kind of examples of that can we think of?
No, I definitely could think of some examples. So one thing would be programs, right? If someone's trying to build a community, nowadays we're trying to get the memberships going and the program and the digital product and all of that to build the stack of money. And then you have the community that's not started yet, but you're charging for the community and you're pricing as if it's already there, everything's already done. And it's like people are going to invest into it because it sounds amazing and they know their life is going to be changed. But if you haven't done any of that back end work, I don't like when someone tells me to put out an offer that's not ready. I don't care what you tell me. I've had coaches tell me that, and I will argue them down. I'm not delivering a half baked thing to anybody. That has hindered me in the past. If I know that I don't have a school or the WAP or whatever they call the little, if I don't have that done, there's not a name on it and they can't click a link and go to it, I'm not putting that. I will say community coming soon, and I will price as this is not here yet, so I'm not going to add that in, and I'll do like a 6-month little discount or something for everyone who joins by the end of the year because I'll launch it in January. Cool. You got to learn how to think like that. But if you're out here acting like you have this big thing ready to go and you don't, I feel like it's misleading people. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll pass it to you, Allegra. I forgive.
No, you're so right. You made me think of so many examples. I'm glad you're starting this week. You made me think of so many examples because I'm thinking of the situations that I've experienced and been a part of, right? Where I'm just like, okay, wow, like you were saying all this. And then when I come into the DMs or when I come to you, it's like it feels like you're actually asking me to help you grow it, right? You're asking, like you're basically like looking for me to help you get that started as a consumer. And I think that's okay if you are relaying that information, right? Like if I do a startup campaign or a crowdfunding campaign, like we talked about earlier, the fallacies about funnels and all that stuff. Like you have to, first of all, you have to start with getting the funding from people who are willing to fund what your mission is. That's why in business, when we write a business plan, we write a mission statement. The mission statement is not just because we're like, oh, that's fun. It's because that's what people are going to believe in. Right? Like that's your why behind your business. And if you cannot actually tell people, hey guys, like this is the why behind why I built community. For example, Ajane, your what you said was great because so many people want community, right? They want to be around people that support them. They want to support the people in a safe space, but they also want to make their community monetized, right? That's when you go into that business side where you're now having to be responsible for letting people know what that customer journey looks like. And for them, if they're in the beginning of your business startup phase, that's their customer journey. It's like you have to let them know, hey, your donation, your support, your money is going to go towards beginning this process. Or I'm not ready to start it yet, but because I need funding, so I'm making this as part of my startup funds. Would you like to support this type of mission to put out into the world? And I think sometimes we don't realize how that is partly because we really are in shame of being in a place where we're asking people for help or we're asking people for money. So if you're not okay with saying, listen, this is where I'm at and I need your support, I don't have this whole big thing built yet. Now in my mind, is there, like I have it in my head and I know what that thing feels like, and listen, this is my vision, and that's why we have a vision statement. because it allows people to see, oh, okay, that's the big picture. And so I want to emphasize this for people who may be in business and they're just kind of winging it or doing it. And this is why I do what I do, is because it you fall into this gap. You fall into this place and it's not intentional. You it's just that a lot of times we are just putting it out there because we want people to understand what we see, but people need to know what they're getting. Okay. And there's a difference there. So I think that's also incorporated in the messaging, that we put into our marketing. So I'll stop there because there's a lot more to be said about it, but this is something we can kind of chew on, right? Think about, are your advantages, are your features that you're putting out there for your products and services, are you saying things that, may exaggerated?
Right.
So that's pretty much it. And then we have two more guys, two more not questions, but two more places that we'll hit. We're going to get out of here a little bit earlier than at the end of the hour. That means that you get to kind of ponder on this a little bit more, chew and make sure you wash your plate, guys, because this is some information that I think that it feeds over time. Okay. So the next one is promoting all-inclusive offers, but later adding unexpected fees. What comes up for you, Ajane?
So with that, it's when someone clicks on an offer and says, "Oh, and for this amount of money, you're going to get all of these things from me." And then the next thing that they click on tells them, "Hey, go ahead and add this for $250. Go ahead and add this." And one platform I know that does that, or a type of platform, is like these lifetime license type of things. I have a few of those accounts. But the one thing that annoys me is that the ad says $49 and you get to do all these things, and then you don't have to pay monthly to this specific platform that they're competing with. And then they turn around and they want to sell you $200-$300 worth of other things that are not included in the $49 offer. But you click on it thinking that that's what you're getting. And then you're like, well, dang, let me come up with $200 then instead of $50. I thought, and so that really is frustrating. I know that it's some people's marketing tactic, but it's not okay. Because if you're telling me you can replace a subscription that I pay for every month and I can pay you one time and it'll save me money, at least tell me honestly what the tiers are, to 49 through 200, depending on what. I don't care. Be specific. Be okay with being specific enough if you know you're trying to target people for a lower ticket offer. That's all I'm saying. To you, Allegra. I don't know if I'm lagging. I don't think I am. Am I lagging?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mm-hmm. I did a little.
Yeah, I think I heard you, and I hope you guys can hear me clearly. Yeah, this is definitely one of those areas where, for me, I think this comes from lack of confidence in your pricing strategy, right? Because a lot of us don't even have a pricing strategy. We just kind of like throw a price out there. And then we go, yeah, well, that's what the value that I offer. And people are like, bruh, but you just like lied to me. like, why are you lying? But I think it can come from a place of ignorance, like you just don't know what you don't know. But I think what matters the most is that you do your research first. Like, why are you pricing that thing the way you are? Really understanding that's really important. And any hidden cost that you have should not be hidden. Like, there's no such thing as a hidden cost. Like, I've seen people do things where they've put other costs inside of the actual retail price, right? So say, for example, you're doing events and you have like different things you're renting out for your events, right? Like, and you're renting out chairs and tables and things. Like, you may actually charge you may charge not, part of some of the things, but actually the full price of some of those things inside of the cost value of the package, depending on what you need to do for that client. Now, that client may not know that chair was $35 when you picked it up, and they still were charged $35 as a rental fee. They may not know that. Now, that's not necessarily a hidden cost. That's an inclusion in price point because you know what you need to do for that. I'm not talking about that. Okay. So I want to make that very clear because we do have pricing strategies that include things that are inclusive, right?
Mhm.
But this is one thing I will say though. If you do that and then later on they get another invoice saying, "Oh yeah, and this is the fee for the setup." Or this is the fee for the cleanup, or this is the fee for this, or this is the extra fee for that, or this is the admin fee, or this is like I've seen it, and it's not necessarily always directly in a funnel. Sometimes, and this is what I had to tell to one of my clients, you can't just start throwing out invoices and expecting people to just pay it just because you say that's what you charge. If they were not aware before they made the initial purchase of all of what they were buying, then you're going to lose a loyal buyer, and it costs more money to lose a loyal buyer, okay, than it does to actually get a new lead. Like you would be better off keeping your loyal buyers and then just paying for your new leads. That way you're not losing anything. But a lot of us are losing new leads and we're losing loyal buyers. So having that place of, understanding, guys, of really just saying, hey, listen, like I have to make sure that people know that this is what is included, this is what the price is, and that I'm not shocking them with something else. And if you feel the need to do that, then you need to check on where you feel what you feel about money. Like how do you, like, it's really around the idea of, money is an exchange, and it should make both parties feel happy to make that exchange. So this is something to ponder on. Read the last one, Ajane. We're about to get out of here, guys.
Got it. So the last one is fake exclusivity, claiming limited spots are only available today when it's not true. Would you like me to comment or do you want to comment first?
Please do, because I'm guilty for this. Let me just go ahead and say the truth. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've tried the limited spots thing myself. I don't like it. It's something that I feel like is supposed to create a sense of urgency. And you want people to act. So you don't want them to be like, oh, this is going to be around forever. Take your time. You want them to buy, and that's respectable. But you don't have limited spots. You're trying to fill spots that are not there. You're trying to make them believe that you have people in this program, and you may not have anybody yet. They're not supposed to know that though, because then you feel like that diminishes your value. When in real life, a new offer is going to be empty. It's the matter of you marketing it and bringing the people in. But if you say, hey, I only have this many spots available because I have limited time and capacity to give to all of you for one on one time. So once I hit this 12, that's it. That's different than saying I have limited spots. The specifics are important. And so that's what I will say about that. Now I want to hear from you.
I love it. So you're funny. I am so guilty for this in the past, y'all. Like, I'm just going to be honest. So Ajane would have hated me because I was taught through a sales process at a company I worked at, right? And we used to do that, right? At a company I worked for, we used to do that. I remember just like, and I remember being told to lie. Like, this is the crazy part, is that I've worked for companies that literally operated unethically. And it bothers you, but at the same time you're like, okay, I keep my job, right? So I know what that feels like when you're in a job and you feel pressured to have to do something that you don't feel ethically right about doing. And it bothered me. And so I remember when, transitioning, because I didn't stay there long. And then I transitioned into being a CEO at some point. And then now I'm using the same tactics because that's all I know, right? I'm just like, okay, listen, like, this is what we're doing. But here's the thing. I remember doing that for a workshop. And I remember, and y'all hear me out. This is how it stopped. I was doing it for a workshop, and I was like, y'all, we're gonna, jam-packed workshop, guys. We got 50 seats. We're almost full. Let's go, let's go, let's go, right? We're almost full. Do you know I only sold 3 tickets to that workshop? 3 tickets to that workshop. 3 out of 50 seats that I was claiming that was available and was almost full. And so, so that was my learning lesson back in the day, because at that time I was just thinking, Well, it's psychological, right? You tell people what they need to hear and then they just move, right? So technically it is 50 seats filled because they just haven't been there yet, right? It's like you try to trick yourself. But the truth is that I was using a sales strategy that wasn't my sales strategy. I was just pinging off of another company that was being unethical and using it in my business. So I had to change the narrative because my customers no longer trusted me, right? They were like, well, girl, there's only 3 people in here. You said it was gonna be 50 people in here. What are we doing? You know? So being very realistic about that, and I had good intentions, guys. Like, don't think that every time somebody does that is they're trying to like get you at the neck. It's not always like that. It's just that a lot of times, people just don't know, and they're doing what they know. They know they're only doing what they know. And so if you're in business and you're just doing what you know, sometimes you need to learn something new. That's why we tell you get a mentor, get a coach, get someone on your side, because they will tell you, sis, don't do that. I will tell you now, don't do that. It did not work out for me. And now in this space of, really in my programs now, like you said, I'm right now looking for 25 women in my business clarity and intensive program, like business growth and clarity intensive. That program has changed my life. We have to restart to organize our lives and declutter what's not supposed to be there. We went through the past 5 or 6 years so fast in business that some people can't even breathe to catch up. So in that program, I said I can only accept 25 women for this year. That's it. And it's slowly filling up, right? I think I still have like 13 spots left. So when you said that, I was like, you're right, because when we do it the way where people can see the growth and the structure of it, I'm not rushing to get 25 people in my program. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to have 2 people in my program is a lot of work. Okay. And so guys, I'll digress there because as we're talking about work, we do have to get out of here and take care of our own businesses. But Ajane, I want you to go ahead and comment as well because, of course, this was you led. I'm going to let you end, but go ahead. I'll pass it back over to you.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, thank you for sharing and being so authentic and honest about where we learned that from. Because that's partially why I walked away from the insurance industry. I didn't like what I was learning. I didn't like that they were telling me to say certain things, do certain things. And truthfully, it just wasn't a sustainable business for me. I'm not knocking anyone who does it. I don't care if you make 6 figures a month doing it. More power to you. It's not for me. And I don't like the way they train. So I stepped away from it. To each its own, right? So we just want you to take these things and just evaluate and understand that you're only doing what you learned and be committed to doing something different because that could be the answer you're looking for and it can bring you the results that you need so your business can be successful. And that's really all we want here. That's the whole point of what Allegra does and what I do. We just want people to get out of their situations, get out of the funk, and gain clarity so they can move forward. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. It was nice and quick. Let us know if you like this better. Like if you want us to keep it at the 30, 45 minutes, if you like the hour, please communicate because that helps us help you. We're here to help you. We're giving our time. We have amazing clients and businesses that we work with, and we want to work with you if you are open to that. So we will drop some offers in the chat. It might be some free calls, maybe some paid calls, but understand that we do what we do in real life. Like we really help people in real life. And if you want to give us the opportunity to do that, we would greatly appreciate it. If not, hey, join in, share the live, share with a friend that you know is looking for someone, and maybe we'll resonate with them. But we hope you have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody.